Oh, yeah. Five-star. LSU. I said, they ain't ready for the LSU. No, they ain't ready for the LSU, huh? They ain't ready for the LSU. No, they ain't ready for the LSU. We the best in the league if you looking for talent. LSU going hard, but we beat Alabama, then we going out to Florida. Drown the Gators, everybody getting bucked when we step in the stadium. This the LSU anthem, you know it's a hit. You don't know another rapper two-step like this. See me screaming out the window, yelling purple and gold. I'm an LSU fan, girl, you know how we roll now. Back and back it on up. Hey, 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 way down in the back.
Yeah! TA! We are live.
Good to be back.
Chip, baby. It's time to get another ring. Time to add another one to the Intimidator.
Yeah.
For the baseball Tigers. I'm
I
pumped.
got something.
I mean, holy cow. Zach just bolted off. I have no idea why. Man, it's good to be back. Tigers Avenue, folks.
Time to get another one of these.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Need another ring. Ryan's already in here. Carl's in here. Glad to be back. It has been a very busy 2 weeks. As you all know, we kind of gave you all heads up that this would be happening. We were at a youth camp last week, and then I was at another youth camp preaching this week. We took our youth groups to the first camp, and then I was preaching this week. And so I just got home literally like 3 hours ago. So I've been gone for 2 weeks. I'm glad to be home. I've been keeping up and watching the Tigers every chance we get, very closely and intently. And the boys in the purple and gold. Boys in the purple and gold, Zach, are playing for another championship. You just stinking love it. You love it, Zach. I mean, it felt like yesterday that we were talking about the freshman arms after the Purdue Fort Wayne series.
Yeah, dude, it does.
We were just doing that. We were talking about Cooper Williams and Kason Evans and Maverick Rizzi. Like, it felt like we were just doing that. And here we are. We are a day away, just a few hours. Oh, Lucas got an airplane for me. Look at here. Purple and gold. Look at that.
Can Lucas say go Tigers?
You say go Tigers? Go Tigers. Go Tigers. Here, you want to tell Zach? Here, come tell Zach go Tigers. Come tell him go Tigers. Say go Tigers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go Tigers. Oh, he's got chicken nuggets too.
Oh, look at the chicken. Oh, yeah. Got it.
Say LSU. LSU.
Oh,
LSU.
Carl, time to cook some chicken.
Yes. Speaking of chicken, here you go play with your airplane. Uh-huh.
We already
Okay.
cooked some bacon. It's time to cook some chicken.
You gonna sit down? Yes. We'll see how long it lasts. Yes, that's LSU. So with that being said, Zach, obviously we got to give a little recap. We'll give you a little preview. And TA's tools for triumph. Why does it say TA oops for triumph?
Yeah, I fixed that. Don't worry about that.
Okay. TA tools for triumph.
Little typo there. It's been a minute, Reagan, since we've been back in the grind here, but we're back finally.
But, Coach Kevin Shaw, says, how are the TA Tigers going to triumph over the Chanticleers? Chanticleers, everybody. Chanticleers. So, Zach, man, Tigers have had a fantastic run in Omaha, Nebraska.
They haven't lost since me and you last had a show.
Have not. Zach, I would like to say you and I both
were wrong.
Right. We're right. Well, not about Omaha, but we were right about our prediction on West Virginia.
Yeah,
we both said we would go 2-0 on West Virginia.
Yep.
We both have been, thankfully, wrong about our predictions in Omaha. Zach said we would go 1-2. Shame. I said we'd go 2-2. Shame. Yeah. We are 3-0 in Omaha, and here we are a day away, just hours away from the championship series. So, all that being said, Zach, we got to recap Omaha, break it down a little bit. Obviously, the last game was insane. Insane.
Reminiscent of 2023 much.
Yeah, like crazy ending, obviously, and we're going to get
at some point, Reagan. I've got to speak. I was thinking about this the other day, but I've got to speak on some of the parallels that we've been seeing between this 2023 team and the 2025 team, and we'll get to that.
Yeah. So Zach, LSU's got to start it off against probably the toughest opponent in the field. Game 1 against Arkansas. The good news is you have Cade Anderson on the bump, and Cade Anderson was fantastic. He was absolutely fantastic. Zach Root was also on the bump for the Hogs, so you were expecting a low-scoring game. You ended up getting a low-scoring game, but it wasn't the way you expected. I mean, you bounced Root in the second inning, having only pitched 38 pitches on the game. I mean, he kind of imploded with a few hits, a few walks, and lo and behold, the Tigers jumped on him. Stanfield, just being the veteran that he was in that moment, hits a ball, base hit, gets the scoring going. A couple more come across by, I think one got walked in, I believe.
Brownsville got hit by a pitch, and
got hit by a pitch. That's what happened.
And then Pearson avoided the double play.
That's right. Pearson avoided the double play to drive in the other run, making it 3-0. And Gabe Gackle comes in, Gabe Gackle shut things down, shut it down. So it was a little bit more. It was a little bit different than what you expect. You definitely didn't expect Root to get bounced in the second inning. You were thrilled, but then you kind of after that got the game you expected, a pitcher's duel.
Yeah.
Anderson goes 7 innings of fantastic pitching. Only the one mistake to Robinette. And, Zach, I will argue that Robinette had already been struck out in the at-bat.
Yes.
There was a pitch that was not called a strike, that it was a 2-2 count, and I thought he hit the strike zone. It was not called a strike. Umpire, I guess, thought it was a little bit outside. I thought it was strike 3. I thought he got out of it. But the count goes full. And honestly, Robinette, it was really a tip of the cap to Robinette because Anderson still made a good pitch. It was really like in on his hands, and he, quick hands, turned on it. And, it's one of those, like, if he gets it just right, he can get it out. And, of course, it was like straight down the right field side because it was so in on him. He had to be so early on it, and he is powerful enough to drive it out. But that's really the only blemish that Anderson had, and I really don't want to call it a blemish. It's more of a tip of the cap to Robinette to get to that ball because it was still a good pitch.
Yeah.
And, again, I thought he'd already struck out. So Anderson was exactly what you needed him to be. He was exactly what you needed him to be. He gave you 7 innings of work, and then he came back out for the 8th inning, Zach, and you're thinking, okay, he's going to go until somebody gets on. Like, they're just going to ride him until somebody gets on at this point. And then, of course, he gave up the single to lead off the inning. He hands the ball over to Kason Evans. No, Shores.
Yeah.
And Shores comes in throwing absolute gas. He did spike the first pitch. It went wild. Runner got to second, but after that, he shut it down. And then you tacked on another run for some insurance.
Yeah,
You made
Curiel.
it 4-1, and Curiel. I mean, good grief, with 2 outs on an 0-2 pitch, waits back on a breaking ball, and hits it opposite field. I mean, he is just not a freshman anymore. I mean, he hasn't played like a freshman all year long. He's a freshman phenom. I mean, in a crucial game like that, when you really want to get some insurance, and he's down 0-2 in a count with a runner in scoring position with 2 outs, to be able to wait back in an 0-2 count and hit it opposite field to drive in another run, I mean, he's just amazing. Derek Carroll's enjoy him for the next couple games and enjoy him next season, because he's gone after that. He's gone. Like, you've got a couple more games with him here, and then next season, that's it. He's gone. He was fantastic. And then Cason Evans came in. He was fantastic, shut it down, and essentially saved your entire bullpen by going Shores, Evans there. They hardly pitched anything. I think Shores pitched 10. I think Evans pitched like 13. It was the perfect game 1, Zach. It really was. I mean,
smooth selling for the most part, and the middle of your order and the bottom of your order was really the ones that got it done. They all recorded a hit, 5 through 8, all recorded a hit. Stephen Milam had 2 hits on the night. He's been absolutely phenomenal this postseason, as he was last year. I mean, to be able to go against Arkansas and your top 4 guys, Jared Jones, Jake Brown, Ethan Fry, Josh Pearson, for all of them to not record a single hit, and there was only 1 walk between those 4 guys, and you were able to win that game 4-1 against Arkansas, massive win. Obviously, a lot of that has to do with Cade Anderson on the bump, and then, of course, LSU gets the win, and they advance to the winner's bracket against UCLA.
Yep. And, Zach, one other thing that I think is so important to note in this game is that Jared Jones was 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts.
Almost had the golden sombrero if he had had another bat and struck out again.
I mean, as rough as a game as you could possibly have, yet you still found a way to win. And boy, has Jared Jones delivered ever since.
Yep. Has
he ever delivered and turned around all the – I mean, people hate seeing him strike out all the time. An 0 for 5 day, you hate it for him. His first, go at it in the College World Series this year. Obviously, he had some experience with 2023. But, he's like a leader for this team. He's the guy for this team. And to go 0 for 5, but it's so big that you, like you were talking about, the bottom of the lineup, picking this up, Curiel, which, by the way, dude, I mean, Jay Johnson managing his tail off to put Curiel down in the 6th hole in that game, just knowing, his analytics are just brilliant. I mean, and it paid off. It paid off having him there, and Stanfield as well. But, everybody was really, really kind of down on Jared after that game. And then, man, he turned it around quickly in the UCLA game, Zach.
Yeah,
Tell me a little bit about the UCLA game, Zach.
Well, obviously, it was 2 games back-to-back that were kind of weird in different ways, right? So, obviously, in the second game, right, we're expecting Anthony Ianson to go a long way. And unfortunately, there in the first inning, he didn't really get touched up. He had 1 ball that was hit hard.
Yeah.
A lot of infield singles, Reagan. One that beat the shift, and all of a sudden they're up on you. I mean, and just a lot of balls that, like, they were fielded by the middle infield, but they just couldn't make a play at first base because of how the ball hopped or how the way it was hit. And unfortunately, a just really weird inning for Anthony Ianson in the defense, and you're looking at the scoreboard and you're already down 3-0, right? And at that moment, I think everybody was saying it on Twitter, like, you got to go respond some way, somehow, like, get a run, maybe 2, go and respond. And boy, that is exactly what they did.
No doubt.
Of course, Jake Brown comes through with a 2-out single to get a run across, and you're thinking, okay, great, we've scored, like at least we can start scratching it across. And then Jared Jones comes up after going over 5, almost having a golden sombrero type night, and launches one to right center, and just like that, the game you took the lead. And it was 4-3. So then the question was, well, how long can we get Anthony Ianson before this rain comes? Because everybody knew that storm was coming, right? And for me, Reagan, I was hoping, let's hope we can get 4 or 5, like see if we can squeeze that in. And unfortunately, they shut things down pretty early on. They did not want to have to deal with any of the weather whatsoever. Of course, lightning was in the area as well. And just like that, a lot of LSU fans were very upset by this because of the fact that obviously Ianson was going to be done for the rest of the day. Luckily, in the 3rd inning, Hernandez saves the inning because you started out with a walk, but then you had strikeout. And just like that, you're going, oh, crap, are we going to waste this opportunity? And Luis Hernandez comes up with an extremely clutch single. It just seems like every now and then, like, Luis hasn't like popped. Like, he's not the guy that everybody looks at and is like, oh yeah, like he's the guy. Like, obviously Jared Jones, people look at and they're like, he's their big bopper. He's, the guy that can carry the team at certain points. People look at Stephen Milam and how hot he gets in the postseason. Like, Luis Hernandez has just, after he went through a little bit of that struggle, like early on in the season, has just been really consistent. Like, just like a really consistent baseball player. And he doesn't have like these flashy, like multi-hit games, but he gets hits when you need them. Like when he's up and you need somebody to get a hit, Luis Hernandez gets a hit. And that's what he did there in the 3rd inning. Ultimately, that would be the end of the night for both teams as the weather delay came in. And everybody questioned what was going to happen. What was Jay Johnson going to do coming back the next morning at the 10 a.m. start time, Reagan? And obviously, I think there was a lot of different opinions, right? Could Anthony Ianson come back? We had seen it before, way back, like whenever Gaussman did it. I think, was it back in 2016, 2013? I can't remember exactly. It was a long time ago. Long time ago, Gaussman had done it. So people were like, well, he didn't pitch that much. Could he come back and, just use that as a bullpen day? But, I mean, I'll be honest, Reagan, I thought they were going to go Cooper Williams first out of the pen because of how many lefties that UCLA was about to bring up. I thought that was the best bet. But I also thought Jay Johnson might say, well, we've got a 2-run lead here. We're in a good spot. It's a new day. Let me go to my guy that I trust the most, and that was Kason Evans. And Kason Evans came in and was brilliant. 4 1/3, struck out 5. He did allow 2 runs there at the end, but as he was, obviously fatigued and running out of gas, but he gave you exactly what you needed. He put up 1, 2, 3 innings. He worked around some guys getting on, but I don't. Outside of the 8th inning, Reagan, there was not a single inning where he had a deal, I think, with somebody in scoring position. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty positive that there was not a single inning outside of the last team that he was in that he dealt with anybody in scoring position. So he was phenomenal. He held it down until he kind of ran out of gas. And the offense was able to tack on some more runs, some more insurance once he did that. LSU comes right back. Obviously, everybody wondered, would the offense be able to do the same thing that they had done the night before? And they come right back the next morning. Milam singles to score Curio, Brown singles to score Fry, and just like that, that was right. And just like that, it's 7-3, and you're like, okay, now we just gotta make it through. Gotta make it through. And then obviously in the 7th, Dickinson tacked on another run with the kind of bloop single that went to right field, just kind of stuck the bat head out and got it. I was, of course, a lot of people, Reagan, they were upset because of the 10 a.m. start, which I was as well. I was frustrated, obviously, with the decision because the NCAA should have decided to move the game up earlier so we could get the full game in. So I was at work, but luckily, by the grace of the LSU Jesus there on Twitter. That's a joke. That's a joke. I had a lunch meeting at a sports bar that day that they played at 10 a.m. So I basically got to watch the entire rest of the game. Whether it was on my phone while riding in the vehicle, not driving, we're riding, or at the sports bar, the Mexican sports bar, to watch the game. As soon as I got in, the waitress comes, she gets our drinks, and like my first mind's not even drinks. My first mind is, hey, I really need a favor. Can you turn that game on to ESPN2, please? And she turned both TVs that were facing us to ESPN2. So I got to applaud our waitress at Maria's Cantina in South Haven, Mississippi. She was able to help me and Bobby watch the rest of the game. And obviously, UCLA did scratch across the 2 runs there in the 8th as Case and Evans tired. But Cooper Williams came in as I expected. Chase Shores came in, and they were locked down. Both of them were. In the 8th as well, I think it was a good response there by Jones to hit a clutch 2-out single and score a fry there in the 8th. That just kind of solidified his bounce back from the day before going 0 for 5. And Reagan, LSU wins game 2, and they advance, and it was going to come down to who they were playing next. And I think everybody expected Arkansas to beat UCLA because UCLA had to play the night before, the next morning, and they used a lot of their pitchers that they would typically rely on. Wyland Moss, they started him. And Wyland Moss and Easton Hawk, those are 2 guys that like UCLA heavily relies on. And you threw Stump, Wyland, and Hawk, all in this game. Spanned over 24 hours from the weather delay. So everybody knew that there was going to be a rematch versus Arkansas, and that's what we got as Arkansas really cruised there in that elimination game.
Yeah, well, and what a big game, Zach, because not only now are you 2-0, which puts you firmly in the driver's seat, but like we were just saying, you like the difficulty to then turn around and Zach, think about it this way. UCLA went from the winner's bracket to gone in one day.
Yeah.
One day. That was how crucial winning and making sure you took care of business after the rain delay.
Yeah.
You literally went from winner's bracket to leaving Omaha. Like, quick turnaround. So it was massive. You put yourself in the driver's seat of this side of the bracket. Now, anybody you were going to play, it didn't matter who you were playing, they were going to have to come out and beat you twice. And because the season's on the line, and because of what happened with Zach Root, they used Zach Root in that evening game against UCLA, which also, Zach, I feel like I have to say this, but the performance of Gage Wood was amazing. Oh,
yeah, for sure. We've got to say that.
It's probably the greatest pitching performance in College World Series history.
It's the greatest pitching performance I've ever watched.
I wanted him to get the perfect game. Like, the fact that he nicked the guy on the foot in the 8th inning is sickening.
Yeah.
Really sickening. But it did. It nicked him, so you lost the perfect game. But you get a 19 strikeout, shutout, complete game. College World Series record, 19 strikeouts. It was an amazing performance. But because you beat Arkansas game 1, they go to Gage Wood, and he's burnt. As amazing as the performance was, he's done.
He's burnt, yeah.
Because their season is on the line, they pitch Root against UCLA. Season's on the line. And so you get Beischeitels, or however you pronounce his last name. Beischeitels, whatever it is. Like, he's a good pitcher, and quite honestly, Zach, pitched a phenomenal game.
He did.
But not their best guy. And you get to throw Cowan who's been one of your best relievers. And if let's say you ended up losing that game, right? Let's say you lose that game, you turn around and Arkansas is still burnt. They don't have Wood. They don't have Root still. And you can go save your season with Anderson and Hyanson. Now, you don't want to do that because then it kind of compromises the final series. But it's the same thing with 2023. You went to a winner-take-all, and it's either you're getting to the finals or you're not. And so who does Wake Forest and LSU pitch? It's Paul Skeens and Rhett Lauder.
Yeah.
And it was probably the greatest game, one of the greatest games in College World Series history between Skeens and Lauder. Goes to the 11th inning scoreless after 2 phenomenal performances, and you get the walk-off home run from Tommy White, and that game will live in infamy. The good news is, though, if you got to that game, they didn't have a Rhett Lauder. They didn't even have Root or Wood. And you could go to your absolute best and save it. But to recap Game 3, that's not how it played out. Obviously, the Tigers won. And of the 3 games, this is the most ridiculous game. It was the craziest game. It was
definitely on something, that's for sure.
You go to Cowan, you go to Bosch Idols. Both Cowan and Bosch Idols pitched phenomenal games. Go ahead, Zach.
I'll say this, Reagan, because obviously Zach Cowan had really struggled over the past month in the postseason near the end of SEC play. And so there was a lot of concern about the potential of Zach Cowan starting. And I myself, because of what we had seen recently, and it wasn't like, there was an outlier. It was like kind of stacked performances that did not go Cowan's way. And we had seen Newt have some good performances, right, throughout the postseason in the SEC tournament against Ole Miss, even though LSU lost that game. He pitched really well. I expected, and what I was assuming was going to happen, and what I wanted to happen was you go to Newt, you hope you get 4 innings out of him. You go to Cowan, you get maybe 1-2 innings out of him, and then you go to Shores, Myers, whoever, to finish the game off. And that's kind of what happened, just flip-flop the 2.
Right. Zach
Cowan does get the start, and to his credit, man, he silenced all of the doubters.
He did
5 and a 1/3. I don't think. I mean, when I saw that that it was announced that Cowan was starting, I was thinking at best 3 innings at best. And boy, did he prove me wrong. 5 1/3, 6 strikeouts. He did not walk anybody. Only allowed 4 hits throughout that 5 1/3, and only 1 earned run, which of course was the home run there for Ryder Helfrich to get the scoring start in the 4th. And what was crazy, Reagan, is I think a lot of people were expecting a more high-scoring game, and I know that's kind of how it ended up. But it also just went completely bonkers there in the 9th inning, in the 9th and the 8th inning. But for 7 innings, this was a pitcher's duel. I mean, it was. I mean, it was a pitcher's duel. You had the home run there by Ryder Helfrich to break the scoring there in the 4th. LSU had plenty of opportunities throughout the early innings to try and get runs across, and they just couldn't muster up anything because Beidelshees was locked in. I mean, he went 5 innings, 9 strikeouts. That's a really, really good performance. They brought in Gabe Gackle, who had handcuffed you in the first game, and Gabe Gackle continued to handcuff you until he finally ran out of gas, and that's when things absolutely went bonkers. Obviously, Brown had a very, very clutch 2-out, bases loaded double to score Fry and Milam there in the 6th inning. And, at that point, you were like, okay, now we got to go to our big guns. Like we got to go to some guys that can completely, that can shut this down. Jaden Newt goes out there. He throws a clean inning, complete inning, had one strikeout, no hits, no walks. I mean, really good, again, outing by Newt. So he's continued to stack good outings. And then you went to Shores, Reagan. And I think at this point, a lot of people expected this, to be a one inning maybe, because he had pitched the day before, right? He had already pitched the day before. And this, Reagan, was the first time. It was the first time this season that Shores was asked to go back to back, right? And I think I completely understand what Jay Johnson was doing by trying to get a little bit more out of him there in the 8th inning, because as we know now, per Jay Johnson, the plan was to go to Ianson in the 9th if Shores got them through the 8th, right? We know that was the plan, because if Shores had got them through the 8th, you've got a lead, you've got a tie ball game, right? Because at that point it was 3-3, right? Because obviously we can talk about what happened in the 8th inning, but the plan was to go to Ianson if it had been 3-3, and then LSU would have had the chance to walk it off in the 9th, right? But that is not what happened, right? That is not what happened at all. So I understand what Jay Johnson was trying to do, but I do think probably shouldn't have extended him as much, considering he had pitched the day before. And we know, obviously, now what Chase Shores is. He is absolute dynamite for an inning to 2 innings, tops. And Jay tried to get him to extend a little bit longer there. He went 2 innings, and then he obviously began all chaos broke out, Reagan. And I'll let you kind of break down some of that, Reagan. Obviously, it was 2-1 heading into the 8th inning, and you're asking Shores to give you a little bit more extension to try and get through that inning before going to Ianson. But then obviously chaos happens. And Reagan, why don't you go ahead and break that down a little bit for us?
Well, I also don't. I don't know. I don't think Shores is really to blame, because he got the double play and they didn't turn it.
Yeah.
I mean,
but the issue was the guys being on base that obviously led,
That's true. And that's fine. However, a pitcher is allowed to work out of things, and he had worked out of it, and they couldn't turn the double play.
Yeah.
Like, defense has got to back his pitcher up. So again, I'm not disagreeing with you wholly, but I am pushing back a little bit. Like, the dude should have gotten out of the innings.
He did make the pitch there to get the ground ball and try to end the inning.
But it happened. It was 3-2 at that point. And then again, like I said, Jared Jones, responded so well to that first game. Of course, he did what he did in the UCLA game, hitting the 3-run bomb in the first inning to quickly turn around the total outlook of that game that started 3-0 UCLA. He tacked on the other run in the UCLA game. 4 RBIs in that game. He comes up in this game, and in a crucial moment in the 8th inning, when the Hogs have just took the lead again,
and momentum had completely shifted into their dugout.
And he had just committed an error by dropping the ball.
And the last time he was up against Gackle, Gackle had his number, obviously, the entire time throughout game 1, right?
Yep.
And then Gackle got his number again there here in this past game, because he struck him out the first time they faced each other.
Yeah. And then he hits the bomb. I mean, he hits the bomb. It was a huge play. I mean, it was a huge play in a big moment. You think about, like, it's bottom of the, we don't see what's coming in the 9th. We don't know at this point. But in that moment, you're going, man, you got 6 outs here. Like, you need to make something happen. It's a 1-run game. Oh, sorry, guys. But he does what he does best, Zach, and that's hit a bomb. I mean, that's what he's known for. And in the biggest stage and the biggest moment, he delivered. And then he's going to deliver again. As we, in hindsight, we know all of it. Like, he delivered so huge in that moment, so crucial. And then, of course, you turn around and you allow the Hogs to get 2 runs in the ninth. Zach, I literally walked in. From the service that evening at the camp, and Justin Thomas hits the single to drive in Iredale and Robinette. And I'm like, good grief. Like, you're thinking, like, man, you're going to have to burn. Like, I had full confidence. Excuse me. I had full confidence that, okay, if you go to a winner take all, like I was picking LSU, and LSU, from a betting perspective, like a betting line, would have been a very, very heavy favorite in the winner take all, just because you would have your best against their bullpen, essentially. You would have Anderson and Ianson to win that game. Crazy things have happened, right? Baseball's baseball. Maybe Arkansas could have pulled it off. But how massive it was for LSU to capture this game. You're sitting there thinking, man, now you got to go. You're 3 outs. It's a 2-run. It's not just a 1-run game.
I think everybody at that point thought they were going to be playing tomorrow.
You're going to be playing tomorrow. And, okay, before we get into this, because this is the craziness, number one, Hog fans, nobody should ever be blaming, like nobody, absolutely nobody should be blaming Dave Van Horn on this whatsoever.
Oh, for sure not.
Whatsoever. Dave Van Horn, I felt like, pushed the right buttons. He puts Gibbler on the mound. And I saw a Hog fan saying that it was on DVH because he put a freshman out there with Gibbler. Gibbler did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Gibbler did what he was supposed to do. The only blemish he had was the walk. That's it. Gibbler did everything else he was supposed to do. He comes in, first batter, he strikes him out. John Pearson comes up, pinch hit, strikes him out. The very next batter, Curiel, comes up. And this is where the mistakes began. With this, what's so crazy is this mistake is lost in the midst of all the other craziness.
Yeah.
It starts with the play with Curiel that I think the first baseman went way too far out to go make a play on this. Way too far out. He should have stayed at first base. He should have gave Koziel a shot at this ball. I think it would have been I think Curiel would have still been safe, but it would have only been a single. It would have been an infield single because Koziel would have had a better play. He would have gotten to the first baseman. I think Curiel still beats it, but I don't think the ball goes wild. Instead, the first baseman is running to his right, going way far out there, and then having to field it and then turn back and throw across his body, and he throws it wild. So Curiel gets all the way to second. Again, Gibbler made the play to ground ball.
Induce a ground ball. Yep.
Not only did he get the strikeout, he induces the strikeout, he induces the ground ball. Okay? Your first baseman made the mistake. Robinette made the mistake. Okay. But you got a 2-run lead. You got an out. It's only one guy on. The world is not falling apart. Even if they hit it out here, it's only a tie game. Okay. Well, then is the one blemish on Gibbler. He walks from. Okay. But then he did what was necessary to end the game. He induces another ground ball, a tailor-made 6-4-3. And if any, like, I don't want to hear any arguments about the play. Like Vahiva Aloy is the SEC Player of the Year. He turns that double play in his sleep. He was not fading to his right. Did he go to his right a little bit? Yes.
No, he went to his right a little bit, but by the time that the ball was getting there, he was squaring it up. Yeah.
He was totally squared. And could have easily gone to 2. And, me and Preston were watching it. Preston was a Hog fan, by the way. I literally watched this live with a Hog fan. It was pretty interesting. We were like, okay, maybe he checked second base and the second baseman like was off and wasn't there on time. And so he made the safe play. You watch the replay, dude, Coach Zeal was there. Like, it was like bang, bang, bang. And Milam hit it hard enough that it was going to be a quick double play. It wasn't like it was going to be a close play at first base.
Oh, yeah, he would have been out by a lot.
He would have been out by probably 2 steps. I mean, it was the play he should have made.
Yeah.
It was the play he should have made. You can say the runner at third does not matter. You can say, well, he wanted to make the safe play and get the guy at third. Fine. Fine. But the runner at third doesn't matter. You can go to second, and even if he throws over the head of the first baseman, the runner scores, you still have the lead, and you now have 2 outs and only 1 runner on. But now, because you've turned and not even given yourself a chance to end the game, you leave the door open with the winning run now at the plate.
Mm-hmm.
The run that eventually did win the game. You turn, you make that throw. You say what you want. Number one, Iredale wasn't expecting it. He wasn't even back to the bag. I mean, I think everybody expected that to be a 6-4-3, especially from Vahiva Aloy. I really feel bad for the kid. I think in the moment, he got scared and wanted to make the safe play.
I will say this, Reagan, because I do agree with you. Like, the double play for sure was the correct play to make.
Yes.
I don't think there's really any argument that, well, going to third was the correct play to make. That's not the argument. I think the commentary to that is, yes, that he potentially wanted to go to safe play, because you also have to consider this, and this was brought up by one of our good buddies, and I do want to mention it because it is a point worth making, Reagan. The top half of that inning, he just watched on a double play ball get botched, and it scored 2 runs for them. So maybe he's thinking in that situation, let me go to third because it's the safe play. I know it'll be an out. I'm going to get the lead runner, and we prevent a potential, botch of a double play because anything can happen, right? But all that to say, it still was the wrong play. It still was the wrong play.
I mean,
it was not the right decision. I wouldn't say, I don't know necessarily, Reagan, that I would say it's a bad decision, but I would say it is the wrong decision. It is the wrong decision. I'm never going to say that getting the lead runner and getting another out is a bad decision, but it was the wrong decision in that moment, for sure. 100%. Nobody can argue that.
Sure. I mean, you are in the biggest game of your life. You're the SEC Player of the Year. You've made this play all year long. Like, you've got to make that play. You just got to. You got to. As an LSU fan, I'm thrilled that you did not make that play. But that play has to be made.
But as a baseball fan, yeah.
You have to attempt that play. Whether, and my other thing is okay, sure, he watched what just happened. Maybe there's a question in his mind. Okay, fine. Regardless, though, you should already, you should already know where you're going with the ball when the ball gets to you. And it was clear that Dave Van Horn had not put on any kind of signal for him to go to third. Because in the post-game interview, he was asked about it, and Dave Van Horn was like, I haven't been able to talk with him about it yet. I don't know why he didn't turn it. Which tells me he did not, tell them to make that kind of a play, to play it safe, to whatever. Like, it was Vahiva's decision, and he chose to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was tailor-made, man. He should have made the play. He should have. It was a ball game, but he didn't, and it cost him dearly. It cost him dearly. You leave the door open for the Tigers. You just can't give extra outs to teams like LSU or Arkansas. You left the door open. And, okay, I want to say this. The play to Davalon was not an easy play. Like, it's a play that should have been made, okay, but it's not an easy play.
No.
It is a play that is made regularly by SEC outfielders, but it is still not an easy play.
Yeah.
It was a hard line drive sinking down from him.
104 off the bat.
The reality, yes, 104 off the bat. The reality is, I think Davalon misread it just slightly at the very beginning and was hustling to make up for his misjudgment. And because of that, slipped near the end of the ball's, trajectory. And that slip threw him off just enough for it to bounce off his shoulder and go wild. And both runs come in, and you have Hernandez standing on second base now as the winning run. Tie ball game. Winning run is now in scoring position for the LSU Tigers.
And who else? Who
else? Who else other than Jared Jones, who just delivered in the 8th inning to come up again? And yes, he's known for home runs, but to have a veteran approach and know he does not need a home run. He knew, I don't need a home run.
He didn't see a single fastball.
Did not. You knew he wasn't going to.
Yeah.
You knew
he knew as well.
And he knew as well, and he waited back. And Zach, the ball that he hit, he went down and got it.
Yep.
He went down and got it, hit it just hard enough, just high enough to get it over Koziel's head. And it falls into center field. And Hernandez obviously was
tipping off the glove.
After tipping off the glove, I mean, you talk about a game of inches, Zach.
Yes.
Game of inches. After tipping off the glove, obviously Hernandez was moving. It was 2 outs. He was moving on every contact. And so he scored easily. And the ball game was over. And the celebration was on. I mean, what can you say? What can you say? I mean, part of me feels bad for Arkansas because they've choked so bad twice now.
It was rough, and it was rough, Reagan.
I mean, I really feel bad for Davalon. Honestly, I feel bad for Aloy.
Yeah.
But that's baseball, Zach. Yeah.
And we're gonna have to get to some of these. We'll get to these comments here right after this. But yeah, Reagan, I've said this, and like I know that when I say this, like all the Arkansas fans and even our close Arkansas fans are gonna like look at us and be like, "No, you don't," because I was saying it in the moment in a group chat with a bunch of my Arkansas friends, and even my wife was in the background going, "No, you don't. No, you don't."
You don't feel bad for them.
You don't feel bad, but genuinely, Reagan, I like it. It was a mixture of emotions because I was ecstatic for LSU, like over the moon. Like you can ask my wife and our 2 girls. Like I lost it, went berserk like on that play. And by the way, in the same way that you were not able to watch most of the game because you were at church camp, I was dealing with church as the youth pastor and having youth group. And I had to, have youth group and then go get dinner and then go drop a student off that I pick up every time that we meet. And so like, I'm kind of keeping up with my phone here and there. And I walk into my house, Reagan, when Jared Jones is at the plate in the 9th and it's a 1-1 count. So I saw 2 pitches, Reagan. I saw 2 pitches.
Perfect.
I saw the ball that went outside, and then I saw the base hit.
Perfect timing.
So of course I had to go back. I had to hit up Wheels and watch. Which, by the way, if we got a ton of y'all in here tonight. If you ever want to watch highlights of anything LSU, go subscribe to Wheels. Go subscribe to Wheels. Football, baseball, basketball, all of it. It's great. And Reagan, LSU advanced to the championship, but I felt horrible for the Hogs because we've got a lot of friends. We've got close friends that live in Arkansas and are huge Arkansas fans. And while I was there during my time, I never ever obviously lost my passion for the Tigers, but I did grow a little bit of a sympathy for the Arkansas Razorbacks because of all my close friends. And so, when they're not playing the Tigers, I kind of root for Arkansas a little bit, because of the friendships that I have, that I've built, and obviously that they like Arkansas. So, and I've wanted Arkansas for a very, very long time to get a championship because, man, all those fans, they deserve it because there is I know some diehard Arkansas fans.
DVH deserves it too.
And I know the fans deserve it. DVH out of everybody the most deserves it, and they just unfortunately just have come up short every time. And we can laugh at that at one instant, but man, can you imagine being on that side of it? Like we celebrate as OC fans because we've had so much success and we've been able to win and stuff like that. And I know right now this sounds like super sarcastic, but can you imagine being on that side? Like imagine being an LSU fan and being on that side of things, like getting so close so many times and coming up short every single time. Like
also they have 0 championships.
And I wanted that for them. I hated that they were on the same side of the bracket. Because really, I felt like that, in a lot of ways, we'll see what happens with Coastal game, but in a lot of ways, that was like a championship game. I mean, it really was. So, anyways, Reagan, LSU wins. They're going to play Coastal Carolina. We've got to get to these comments. We're already 53 minutes in. Obviously, going to run a little bit long tonight. That's totally fine. As we said, Ryan's in here, and Carl is both in here.
Carl, what's up?
Let it ring 8 times. Ryan said we are 10 hours away. So there we go. So I don't know if y'all knew this, but this is formerly known as the Golden Boot, now known as No Chill Sports. We're glad to have you guys in here with us. If y'all haven't already, y'all definitely need to go like, subscribe, go check out Pooh Bear and Ant over there at No Chill Sports. Yes. They do a phenomenal job. And so we're glad they're here. He said Zach finally has a real man beard. Well, if you're going to start the beard, you got to go through that really awkward phase where it's patchy and stringy, and Reagan understands. He was there. I never was a beard guy, Reagan, but my wife wanted me to grow the beard, so I reluctantly grew the beard, and it has filled in quite nicely. It has filled in quite nicely. Listen, happy wife, happy life, right? Ant's also in here with us from No Chill Sports. He said, "What's up, fellas? Feel good to be a Tiger fan right about now." Dad's in here. Glad Dad's in here. He said, "I'm excited about this series. I'm going to say we win 2-1. Wow." Ant said, "I don't think Shores is to blame. I think Yeski calling all those sliders in a row was the issue." Good point. Good point. Yeah. Michael Bowen is in here. He says, "Hello, gentlemen. Let's go."
Up, Mike?
Carolina. Oh, no.
He's a Hog fan. He's a Hog fan.
Where's the block button? Where's the delete comment button? I'm just kidding, Michael. We're glad you're in here, man. And we are genuinely hate to see your Hogs go out. What a great team. What a phenomenal team. Just two teams that went, two great teams that went head to head. And unfortunately, one team's going to make it out and one team's not. Ant said Arkansas fell apart in the ninth. Moment got a little too big for them. The first baseman played hero ball. Shortstop panicked and just took the safe, easy out. And the left fielder. I mean, it is honestly crazy that 3 of their veteran players, right? I mean, Reese Robinette, Wahiva Aloy, who's the best player, who's arguably the best player in the country, definitely the best player in the SEC, in my opinion.
It was the dudes who failed.
And Charles Davalon, who's another veteran. In those 3 plays, made mistakes. Like, it's crazy to say that those 3 veteran players on that Arkansas team,
right,
all made a mistake in that one inning. Like, it's That's crazy. Baseball, man. It's crazy.
Not likely, but it happens.
Michael Bowen said, I believe LSU wanted it more than the Hogs, or the Hogs always find a way to choke. Yeah.
And Jesse's in here. Kevin. Jesse has never watched an inning of college baseball in his life. The one time he watched is probably when Ole Miss won the national championship, and he probably could care less. That's that. Jesse, shame on you. You're not a sports fan, Jesse.
This is a good point. I'm ignoring Jesse because it's pointless to acknowledge somebody that doesn't follow college
football meathead. That's all he is. Caveman football meathead. He don't watch no other sports.
Well, he's not. He's gonna have to branch out a little bit if he wants to be a little bit more civilized. But I think it's a great point that Ant brings up, and it was mentioned on the broadcast. Reagan, 100% agree. 100% agree. Why even pitch to Bear? He had just went yard. And they pitched to him with a lefty.
I mean, okay, again, we've been singing his praises, but he is strikeout prone.
Maybe they were thinking, well, he just hit a bomb, so he's prone to strike out this time. I don't know.
But shout out to Jared though. 3 for 5. And he comes up with 2 clutch hits in the 8th.
Yeah. He had the single as well. So this is just bad. I mean, it's just terrible. Your mascot's a chicken. Your mascot is a chicken. A chicken. I shouldn't be talking. Find some wood to knock on or something because they'll end up. Your mascot is a chicken and your name is the Chanticleers. Like, what are we doing? Anyways, I'm gonna say that, and then we're gonna end up losing. So, if we lose, blame it on Zach. It's because I made fun of the chicken mascot and their stupid name. Anyways, let's see. Contact sports only.
Meathead.
All right, what are you watching? Lacrosse or something? I don't know. Wrestling.
Rugby.
Like, what are you watching? Golly, you're missing out on baseball and basketball, that's for sure. Ryan said, I told y'all that Kansas chokes in the College World Series. Anders Lee, what I laugh at post-Arkansas game is how so many think somehow LSU was disrespectful to the Hogs. I just didn't see that. And somehow most Hog fans want the Green Chickens to win out of their own grief. If Arkansas beat us, I'd be a Hog, an SEC guy. Come on,
guys. Come on.
I'm dead serious. I'd be rooting for the Hogs. 1,000%.
I would be too.
1,000%. Even though they beat us, like if Arkansas makes it, I'm rooting for the Hogs. 1,000%.
I would have been rooting for the Hogs.
And first base was open. Yep,
it's true.
Tyler Townsend is in here. TT. Todd, I gotta know. So we've obviously seen this profile pic of you for like a really long time. Has the arm healed, brother? Like, has the arm healed? Like, come on, my guy. We gotta figure something out.
I didn't even know.
Are you out of the sling yet, my guy?
Tyler, my God. For life.
With that, we're gonna take a quick break. When we get back, we'll preview LSU versus the Chanticleers, the Chickens, and we'll give our TA tools for success. We'll be right back after this.
5-Star Hero, your intro and outro music for the Tigers Avenue show. They ain't ready for that LSU. Go check out all his other music on all the major platforms. Don't forget to follow him on Instagram at Saints Anthem and at Twitter at One Nation Doty. Don't forget to check out his Facebook page for all his Saints and LSU merchandise. Can't get any better than Sarah Klein Stevens, attorney at law. Her firm focuses on the needs of the elderly and maintaining their dignity throughout the process. Here for you, here for your family. Sarah Klein Stevens, attorney at law.
Right back at it here in the Tigers Avenue show. We're an hour in. So, Zach,
we have breaking news. Wait. We've got breaking news, Reagan. Where is it? We've got breaking news. Tyler Townsend has announced that his arm is fine.
It's good. It's good.
If you're listening on the audio podcast, you have no clue, probably no clue what's going on right now. Well, I guess you kind of do, but anyways. Ryan said, Jesus touched.
Yeah. Be healed, brother.
All right, Reagan. LSU's in the national championship. I think I stole your thunder there, so I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. I mean, we might as well, we're an hour in. We could kind of combine these last two things here together.
Yeah. Sure.
Championship preview. Daddy can't come in there, brother. I'm trying to wrap things up. He wants me to go play with a monkey. So the Chanticleers versus the Tigers. Look, we can make fun of the Chanticleers, the chicken mascot, but this is a good ball club. It's a good ball club. They're in the championship for a reason. This year has been a really crazy postseason for like everybody. But Coastal, I think, is the real deal. They had Florida, one of the hottest teams in the country at the time, in their regional, and they took care of business against Florida. They had East Carolina,
and they had ECU. Yeah.
They had ECU, had East Carolina, and Cliff Godwin in their regional as well. On top of that, I mean, probably one of the two toughest regionals out there was Conway, and they took care of business. And then they go to Auburn, the 4 seed, and they go to the Plains and take them 2-0. And Zach, really, it is because this team is a very well-rounded team. They're good at everything.
Yeah.
And then they walk into Omaha, and they go 3-0, no problem. They go 3-0, no issues. Like no struggle. No struggle. Jacob Morrison, game 2, goes stupid on Oregon State. Shut out Oregon State in the second game to go 2-0.
Yep.
And then they cakewalk past Louisville into the finals. This team is a real deal. 26 straight wins for the Chanticleers. They've won a national title before. They've been here before. Like, this is a good team. It's a good team.
Yeah.
So this isn't going to be just a cakewalk because it's Coastal Carolina. So how do we like the thought is who's pitching? That's kind of where the conversation always goes. And this is one of their strengths. Their pitching is their strength. It's
they have 2 guys that are both over 6 foot. They're both over 6'6", Reagan, which is just crazy.
Yep.
They both throw mid to upper 90s fastball. And they're really good. I mean, they are pro prospects for sure in Morrison and Fluky. And as you mentioned, Reagan, I mean, Coastal Carolina, really good team. I mean, their RPI is like 2. It's crazy. And their offense is really good at getting on base. I think they lead the country in hit by pitch, 176 hit by pitch on the season. Which is just crazy, and I mean, Dad shared those stats with us last night. And here, Dad, the stat sheet stuffer. Anyone on a such winning streak? I guess it means everyone on such a winning streak has won since 1965. The championship. So LSU, while it is Coastal Carolina, and while everybody looked at the LSU Arkansas matchup as the matchup. Ryan said it. There's nothing to sneeze at. Coastal Carolina is nothing to sneeze at. They are an exceptionally well-rounded team.
They hit well.
And they marched through this postseason and this NCAA tournament with a breeze.
Undefeated. They're undefeated in the postseason. Undefeated. So, as you mentioned, Reagan, what are going to be the matchups? Obviously, there's been a lot of stuff floated out there, Reagan. Yeah. And to be honest, I kind of like what I've heard so far as what the potential matchups could be. Why don't you share about that, Reagan? Yeah, they're saying, and this is probably because of the way they pitch things. They're saying that Fluky's probably going first. Cameron Fluky, again, not a breeze by any means, but Fluky's
He averages over 10 strikeouts per 9 innings.
right. Very good pitcher, but he's probably their normal Saturday guy, right? Like he's their second guy. So you're probably going to get Fluky against Anderson game 1. You like your chances there, but Fluky's good. He's 7-1, 3.29 ERA. So his ERA is very comparable to Cade's. And so, like you said, he's got 10 Ks per 9 innings. Cade has a 3.44 ERA. The difference is Cade strikes out a lot more people. He's like 14, almost 14 Ks,
which is insane
per 9 innings. Cade's fantastic. I mean, he's the strikeout leader in the country. The reason I think you win game 1 is because of Cade Anderson. Because, again, Coastal's no joke. They played a tough non-conference schedule. They beat Auburn, and Auburn beat us. But, again, the Sun Belt, week in, week out, is not what the SEC is. And I think we've seen guys like Cameron Fluky all year long. Like, we've seen Cameron Fluky in the SEC like every other day.
Yeah.
So he's not going to surprise us. But I think what they will be surprised by is Cade Anderson. They haven't seen Cade Anderson in the Sun Belt regularly. So I think you take game 1, then you get their ace. Game 2 is what is being said. You're getting their ace, Jacob Morrison. Zach, he's 12-0 on the season. He has a 2.08 ERA. He throws top 90s. He's really good. He's the guy who went and shoved against Oregon State, shut them down. Like, this is the game where it's like, okay, if you're going to lose one, like, this would be the one I would predict. This is the one you're going to lose. But, again, you got Ianson, and Ianson's been fantastic. So you always got a chance. You've always got a chance. But the matchup there, when you look at, what's the one where maybe you go, maybe give Coastal the lean. Maybe you give it to Jacob Morrison there in game 2. But I think Anthony Ianson's just as talented. But Morrison is a legit major league prospect this year and will be drafted. And then you're going to get Riley Eichhoff. And again, another solid pitcher, but he's their third guy. It's a guy you've seen. It is the type of guy you've seen all year long. You can produce offenses against a guy like Eichhoff. He's got a 3.1 ERA. He's got about 7 Ks per 9 innings. He's 7-2 on the year. And I don't really think who LSU's game 3 starter is going to be, because we've seen it a lot differently. Like if you got an opportunity to close game 1 out, you're probably going to see Case and Evans. Like if Anderson,
if not Chase Shores, yeah.
If not Chase Shores, if Cade gives you 7 and you've got, let's say, a 2-run lead, you're probably going to see Shores or Evans, because you're going to win. It's the championship series. You're going to play to win every single game. You're not playing off. If you have a chance to win game 2, you're probably going to pitch Evans if you didn't pitch him game 1. So It's really hard to say who LSU is going to have game 3 if it's necessary. I don't know. If you don't use Case and Evans, which I think the likelihood of that is slim, if you don't use them in the first 2 games and you have an if necessary game 3, then you would expect Case and Evans to get the ball. I just don't think that's likely, though. I think he's going to pitch one of the first 2 games. So, with that being said, if you find yourself in an if necessary, I think you're probably going to see Cowan or Newt, again, because right now it seems like they're going to Shores and Evans to close games out. So we'll see. But Riley Eichhoff is probably going to be their third guy. And the reason that they're doing it is because they pitched off. They kind of pitched off to start the bracket on their side. They pitched Fluky game 1. They pitched Eichhoff game 1 and then brought Fluky in to kind of close things out. and then they pitched Morris in game 2, and then brought Eichhoff back to do game 3 against Louisville. So the rest is probably why you're seeing that with Morrison going game 2. So that's kind of what the matchups are looking like right now.
Yeah, for sure. And then Reagan, obviously, their lineup, we already mentioned, they're really good at taking HBPs, right?
Yep.
And another thing is they have got a first rounder in Bodine at the catcher position. Just so good defensively, obviously a threat offensively. Their lineup, Bodine's scary, but their lineup is another lineup that just is really good top to bottom. You obviously have some drop off there once it gets down to the 7, 8, 9 hole, but they have just consistently produced runs throughout this tournament, Reagan. Yeah. They score like 6 to 8 runs a game, which is really good throughout this tournament. So LSU has definitely got their work cut out for them, and they're going to have to be nails, Reagan. You're going to have to get what you normally expect from Anderson, Ianson, Evans, Shores. Like, they've got to be really good. They got to be on their game like they typically are most of the time. And your offense has got to be able to capitalize on any opportunities that are given. When Fluky and Morrison are out there, you've got to be able to capitalize on anything. So, we can begin giving our predictions, Reagan. I know you kind of said you think this goes to 3 and LSU wins. Is that what you were saying?
I don't know yet. It's hard for me. I haven't fully decided yet. Quite honestly, I don't really know how to make a prediction yet. Because I don't know how
it's going to be really difficult to make prediction, and because you like you said, we really don't know what's going to happen, pitching wise. We know who's starting game 1 and game 2. We know that for sure. But as far as after that, because it's the championship series, what does Jay elect to do in some really tight situations? We'll find out. But I do think LSU wins, Reagan. I don't know necessarily if it's going to go, if it's they win the first 2 games and it's over, or if it's necessarily 3 games. The way that Coastal's been playing, I tend to lean that this could potentially go to 3 games, Reagan.
Yeah.
Especially with potentially the matchups, the pitching matchups that everybody's putting out there. You got to think that Morrison, going on game 2, even though you have Ianson, that's going to be a really, really close ball game. And maybe the Chanticleers, are able to squeak one out there in game 2. And then I feel confident in game 1 there, Reagan. If it is Fluky versus Anderson, I feel really confident in game 1.
Sure.
Game 3, though, I don't know. It could go either way. Honestly. Chanticleer has been really good offensively. You got to hope that LSU will be good offensively against Eichhoff. LSU will probably, be TBA unless Evans is available. If Evans is available, I think everybody knows who's going to get the ball.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a very, very tightly contested series, I believe. I don't expect either team to just blow away the other. And win in any kind of dominant fashion. If there is a game where maybe there's a team that pulls away a little bit, maybe that's game 1. But I'm with you, Reagan. I don't really know what to predict.
I would like the likelihood in my thought process. I'm like, the likelihood of them losing 2 games back to back after winning 26 straight just doesn't seem
like reality.
Likely. But then again, they haven't. This is the best 1-2 punch in the country in Anderson and Ianson, and they've been absolutely consistent. They've been so consistent. So maybe they come out there and like you said, they do their thing. Maybe that's the TA tool for Triumph. They come out, they do their thing, and you find maybe game 2, Ianson has his stuff and Morrison has his stuff, and it's like a low score game, and in the 8th inning you get to the bullpen and you scratch a couple runs across because you got to their bullpen.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what happens. I don't know, but I like LSU's chances. Like it's like 2023. You don't have Paul Skeens, but Kate Anderson's pretty stinking good. But you had 1-2. You had Skeens, you had Floyd, and you knew they were good. And in the postseason, if you got 2 guys like that, you can roll, and that's what LSU's done. Because they've had that 1-2 punch, they've been able to win the first 2 games easily. So
yeah,
that's what it's. I mean, you hope those guys do what they've been doing, and you lean on them, and you take this series. We'll see. We'll see.
Yep. Ryan says no prediction, just win. I like that. I like that. Carl saying what we've been saying. They haven't faced the best rotation in the country. 100% true. Carl Dunn says the guy they're facing tomorrow, which assuming it's fluky, has a 5.91 ERA versus Power 4 teams.
Okay.
If you're going to get them,
you want to get fluky.
You want to get fluky.
You're pitching Anderson tomorrow. You need to get game 1.
You got to get game 1. I mean, obviously, everybody wants you. You know, it's always said, you know, you got to win game 1. Got to win game 1 because the likelihood of you win the championship after you win game 1, you know, skyrockets. But man, it's going to be so crucial. It's going to be so crucial to try to win tomorrow night. Of course, it's going to be on ESPN. Reagan, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock,
6 o'clock,
6 o'clock. 6 o'clock tomorrow night on ESPN. Game 2, obviously, there's going to be at least 2. Game 2 will be played at 1:30, I believe, on ABC. So, yeah, Reagan, here's to hoping that LSU.
This is it.
Big weekend. That's an understatement. We're trying to go for 8.
Let's go get 8. Let's get it. Man, I can't believe it feels surreal. It really does feel surreal.
I didn't think we'd be here, Reagan. I mean, I'm just being honest. I figured LSU would go to Omaha, but I wasn't sure if they'd get to this point, and here we are.
Yep.
You got a chance to go win a second national title in the last 3 years. And wow. I mean, Reagan, this is the first time, this is the quickest turnaround to go back to a national championship that you and I have ever seen out of any major LSU sport that we followed, you know, out of the big 3 sports, you know, baseball, basketball, football. This is the quickest turnaround to go back to a national championship that we've ever seen.
It is.
It's the quickest. So
that's what happens with the powerhouse.
That's what happens when you're the powerhouse. Yeah. If the Tigers will win it, we'll find out. We've seen 2 national championships for LSU, 2 national championship wins for LSU baseball in our lifetime, and we've seen 1 national championship loss. Here's hoping we're not sitting at 500 when we come back here on Monday or Tuesday.
Let's hope so. We'll see you next time here in the Tigers Avenue Championship Weekend, guys. Go Tigers. We'll see you next time here in the Tigers Avenue Show. Spots are here to take us out. Peace.
Who that five star?